Number 20. The intellectual standards of depth and breadth. Capers are double in science fiction. The sixth and seventh standards, depth and breadth. The intellectual standard of depth is concerned with appreciating levels of complexity. Often, the problems we work on have levels of complexity that we may not at first fully appreciate. Applying the standard of depth helps us to question whether or not we have defined our purposes to an adequate enough degree. It helps us to see if we've gathered the kind of information to address those complexities. It helps us to ask if we've appreciated the problem with important perspectives. Thinking that lacks depth is shallow, inadequate to the problem, addresses it at only a superficial level. Now, what's useful to those who reason can be perverted by those who seek to manipulate you through its counterfeit. If you're considering complexity, you can be accused of overthinking the problem. Or if you appear to have a reasonable answer that your sophist disagrees with, now suddenly you're oversimplifying things. The seventh intellectual standard is breadth. With breadth, you can expand your view. Breadth is most useful when it comes to perspective. Have I considered enough perspectives? I can see this problem as a parent, a student, a scientist, a lawyer, a citizen, a politician. I can consider many different perspectives, but significance and relevance helps to keep me focused on the most important ones, those perspectives that are most related to the problem. Seeing the problem from several important perspectives can lead me to greater insights, more things to consider, and attempt to address each one in some way. It's similar to the intellectual standard of depth because it too appreciates a kind of complexity. Taken together, depth and breadth can be described as completeness or comprehensiveness. In some of Dr. Paul's models, he includes completeness as an intellectual standards. Now, I don't cover that one because, to my way of thinking, depth and breadth together define completeness. A sophist can also use breadth to his advantage by a similar tactic to depth. If you add breadth by considering an issue through several different perspectives, the sophist can complain that you're muddying things, that you're introducing things that don't matter. If you're addressing an issue through several important perspectives, your sophist can claim that you didn't consider enough. Either way, counterfeit reasoning can be introduced. There are two more intellectual standards to go, and I will be covering both of them in the 21st presentation. The last one is certainly not the least. In fact, it may be the most important of all.